What's going on YouTube? I'm back with another video. It's been a while since we've been on. A lot has been going on. We recently just moved into a new home, and I also had another baby who's over there sleeping. But I thought I'd just come on and give you guys a little story time. This video was requested by one of the members of a teenage mothers group that I'm a part of. So let's get into this video. I was pregnant in December of 2011. I kind of had an idea that I was already pregnant, but it just hadn't been confirmed. I grew up in a kind of strict household. My dad was a deacon, and my mom was an evangelist. So we had a lot of rules that I had to follow. My then boyfriend at the time, he's not my husband, but my then boyfriend at the time had moved in with us prior to me finding out that I was pregnant. And so my mom, she had been attending these prayer clinicals at her church. And then one morning, the pastor's wife at that church went to my mom and basically asked her about me and was asking her, had Lisa been feeling queasy? And so I associated queasy with motion sickness. So when my mom came to me and she asked, I was like, no, I haven't been queasy, haven't been having no motion sickness or whatever the case may be. And so my mom was like, are you sure? And I said, yeah, I'm sure. So the pastor's wife had suggested my mom pray for my belly. And so my mom had came home after the prayer clinical one day, and I was laying on the floor with my boyfriend at the time. And I believe we was going over wedding plans because he had engaged prior to that. He had proposed to me prior to that, and we were going over wedding plans, and my mom walked into the den, and she told me what my pastor's wife had said. And she went to go pray for my belly, and she felt my belly, and it was hard. To me, it did not feel hard. It just felt kind of normal, I guess, but it felt hard to her, so whatever, I guess. And when she first touched it, she looked at me. She was like, Lisa, are you sure that you're not pregnant? I'm like, no, I'm not pregnant. I don't know what you're talking about. So she was like, I'm going to go to the store and I'm going to get a pregnancy test. So I'm like, okay, go ahead. Like, it's not going to show anything. Go ahead. So she went to CVS and she got the digital one at that. Not even the cheap one. She bought a digital pregnancy test, came home, told me to go take it. I went upstairs to the bathroom and I took it, and it automatically popped up pregnant. And before my mom even went to the store, though, my husband kept telling me, oh, just tell her. But it hadn't been confirmed, so there was nothing to tell her. And so, and two, I was a little nervous because of the type of household that I grew up in. I didn't want her to be disappointed or upset or angry with me, even though I was 19 years old. Some people consider that. I'm sorry, my parents were calling me, but even though I was 19 years old, a lot of people consider that grown. However, I was still living with my parents, so even though, age-wise, I might have been grown, I was not financially prepared. I was not in my own place, so that had a lot to do with it also. So I took the pregnancy test. It came up pregnant. I went downstairs. My mom asked me what it said, and I told her I was test pregnant. And she really didn't say much. She was kind of quiet. But then after a few minutes, she did tell me she was disappointed. She said that, however, she wasn't like angry because she had her first child when she was 14. So she was like, oh, you did better than I did. However, she was still disappointed because I was not married. And I would be lying if I said that I wasn't worried about what other people would say. Not so much for me, because I really didn't care what people thought about me, but I did care about how people would look at my mom, even though, she didn't have anything to do with what I was doing. I was just, being fast and doing what I was doing. But, that did have a, big effect on my thinking. my way of thinking. So I called the doctor that day, or my mom had me to call. I made an appointment. We went to the doctor maybe a couple of days later. And when I went to the doctor, my OB at the time, because I've since switched from him, basically was like, how didn't you know that you were pregnant? Look at your belly. But again, I looked in the mirror and I thought I looked pretty normal. I was still slim. I didn't think I gained any weight. I mean, if I was as big as the doctor was saying, people would have asked me a long time ago if I was pregnant, and that wasn't the case. So when he measured my belly, he measured my belly at 20 weeks. So I was 5 months pregnant when I found that I was pregnant. That same day, I also found out the sex of my baby, and he was a boy. And 2 days later, I went to preterm labor after eating Chinese food. I'm assuming that the grease or maybe some of the seasoning or the ingredients that they use put me into preterm labor. But I did go into preterm labor. I was not dilated, but I was effaced, and I did have cervical funneling. So I was put on bed rest, and I was able to keep my son in until 33 weeks and 4 days. I went into preterm labor again, and they tried stopping it. They gave me intramuscular injections, steroid shots, everything, and nothing worked. I ended up having my son at 33 weeks and 4 days. He was 5 pounds, 6 ounces when he was born, January 21st. And he is the light of my life. He is now today 7 years old. He'll be 8 in January. And he's a really good kid. My doctor thought that he was going to have all of these breathing problems, all of these physical disabilities, speech impairments, learning delays, but he came out a healthy baby. He had no issues. My doctor actually suggested to me and my mom that I abort him because he was like, oh, you're going to be 19. You're not going to be able to deal with all the issues he's going to have. And I'm like, first of all, you don't even know me. You don't know nothing about me. So how are you going to sit here and say, excuse me, say that I won't be able to handle? You don't know what I can handle. But I really wasn't fazed by what he was saying. I had my mind made up that I was going to keep my baby. I was going to raise my baby regardless. And that's what I did. And he is a happy, healthy 7-year-old. And he's doing absolutely well. He is one of the top students in his class. He is on a 3rd grade reading level. He's in 2nd grade. And he's doing well. And I'm just glad that I was able to adapt and even being that young, I still continued in school. So I want any teen moms out there who's discouraged to know that you can still go to college. You can still finish school. Your path is not anybody else's path. It doesn't matter how long it takes you, as long as you get it done. Don't keep any negativity around you. Make sure everybody that's around you is positive and supportive, and you can get it done. It may be hard. Of course, I ran into some obstacles. I thought I would never go back to school. But I did go back to school, and I'm still in school currently, trying to get my degree. I wanted one day to become an obstetrician gynecologist, but I've been thinking these last couple of days, and I'm like, is that really what I want to do? So just make sure that, you're set on what you want to do, that you know what it takes to get there, and that you have the support that you need, because that's important. If you don't have that support, it's going to be, I'm not going to say it's impossible, because nothing is impossible. But it's just going to be a little bit hard and just take a little bit more time, but you'll get there. I'm almost certain you'll get there, and I hope you guys enjoyed my story time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.